Are you ready?
Let's go.
Let's go. Where are we going? Where are we going? I don't know. We're here. We're not going anywhere. This is the only place to be. This is it. John Peckman Podcast, Connecticut Valley School of Music and Dance, beautiful downtown Portland, Connecticut. Come over the bridge, go through one set of lights, pull a U-E. You'll see the music store with red neon light in the window. That is us. Dave will tell you how to have your very own podcast here in our studio. Like and subscribe. Tell your friends. Come on the show with me. Right? That covers it. All right. We are here today. Not a new friend. I don't know if we ever actually met.
I think once.
Maybe.
Once.
His name is Justin Piccirillo. He's a drummer. I've heard about him for years. Now we're gonna get to the bottom of everything. Justin Piccirillo. We have a lot of mutual friends, such as
Christino. Matt Roberts. Seth Adam.
Oh.
Frank Rotelli.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Chuck Peterson.
Oh wow. Okay. All right. So
Keith LeBlanc.
Sure. All of the above. Yeah. All right. So drummer. Currently drumming.
Absolutely.
Cool. With who? Tell us.
With me right now.
Oh boy. Yeah. I hear you.
Yeah. We'll go through the whole the timeline in a minute.
All right. What are you up to these days? Anything in particular that you want to tell us about?
Well, right now, musically, I took a step back and trying to reinvent myself once again. After all the years of playing, I'm not going to say it gets stagnant, but it's it's time to reinvent.
Yeah.
Tunings, just my setup altogether. For all the years I did, multicultural ethnic percussion.
Oh wow.
I want to start bringing that back in. And,
yeah.
And I've been in this progressive realm, I guess you can say, for the past 20 years. I mean,
yeah.
And I want to bring back.
Go back.
Yeah.
That's cool. Well, I tell you what, take us to the beginning.
Yeah, sure.
Get us all through it so that we'll figure out where it all goes.
Yeah, sure. Born in a musical family. My father, professional musician as well.
Oh wow. What do you play?
He plays guitar.
Oh wow. Cool.
But he had a couple prestigious gigs, recordings. So I was brought up in the whole, this is the lifestyle.
Yeah.
My dad would play out 3-4 times a week.
Wow.
And being so young, I would go help him set up the equipment, and he'd give me like a Shirley Temple, and my job was to set the drums up or help him out in any way I could. Carry a mic stand, for whatever it was, right? But he's definitely the reason I am what I am with art and music. So
hey, that's cool.
Both. Yeah,
that's cool. And whereabouts did all this happen?
Oh, it's all in Meriden.
Oh, okay.
I've always been around Meriden.
Meriden.
Yeah, no, he, like I said, he was all over the place, New England, but for myself, he'd have these, this rehearsal space, and there was always this drum set in the back. It was like this old 60s Ludwig Champagne Sparkle.
Nice.
It was only a 13-inch, 16-inch, and a bass, like this tiny 18-inch bass drum or 20-inch bass drum. And I asked him one day, I was probably about 6 or 7, can I have that? Or can I bring that home at least? And, with just those 3 drums, I played that, did that power triplet over and over again, until, it's like, I can't take it anymore. Let's get on the drum set. So that's how it all started.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. What bands was he in? Anybody we would know?
Well, Motor City Band was his big one.
Oh, okay.
And that was that was probably a precursor to a lot of the Motown acts in the late 80s, the Soul Sound Review. But he was in the band that started it all.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Wow. Far out.
Yeah.
So you figuring it out. Now you drag the drum kit back home, and you're figuring it out. What did you first get into? What was the first thing?
Oh, without a doubt, Hall & Oates. That was like my thing. Hall & Oates was as early as I can go back. Hall & Oates and Kiss Destroyer, Hall & Oates. Sure. Any of the early Hall & Oates.
Yeah.
Private Eyes probably was the one. They had a song "Head Above Water" that just something.
Wow,
about.
I don't know that one.
Do you remember? It was
no,
it was like that one. 6th song on. It was the first side of the second record. Second side. First song. There you go.
I don't know if I will.
Yeah, I mean that song.
Mickey Curry.
It was Mickey Curry.
Because I'm gonna get him here. I'm triangulating. I'm getting closer. That's gonna
Mickey
happen.
Curry's a big part of this whole story.
Okay.
All right.
Good. This is going to get us there.
My dad had this rehearsal studio, right? And he knew that Hall & Oates was like my bread, but
Sure.
I loved it.
Yeah, I used to feel that way too. There was a time in my life I said that would be the ultimate gig. That would be the coolest gig.
I had Mickey's hair.
Yeah. Oh.
And it was just the funniest. I mean, that was like
Yeah.
my guy, you know.
Yeah.
I couldn't have been more than 10 years old. And, you know, I emulated Mickey I mean, you know, just straight to forward,
Yeah.
boom. And, you know,
Yep.
I wanted to be him. Well, Roger C. Real, you know, Robbie DeRosa.
Yeah.
Okay, so Robbie had this showcase with Roger C. Real from the Manchurians.
Oh yeah. Right.
Okay.
Yep.
Roger C. Real.
Roger C. Real.
Roger C. Real and Mickey, and I forget the guitar player. He went on to he was on MTV for some band he was playing in. They were going to do a showcase. I don't know if it was in New Haven, New York, somewhere, but they
Yeah.
needed a place to play.
Hey.
And they called up my dad. My dad surprised the heck out of me one day. And I'm
Come down
noodling
there.
around on the piano at my dad's studio. In walks Mickey Curry.
Oh boy.
And I'm a 10-year-old, and I just remember just, you know,
Yeah, just freaking out.
I was just, and, you know, and I get to know him over the next month. I'm only a kid, but I was so starstruck. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm bringing myself right back to
Yeah,
that
yeah,
day.
yeah,
and,
yeah.
And he had just gotten off of Live Aid. So I
Wow.
remember when he came,
Yeah.
he had this like little Porsche or whatever little car he had. And
Yeah.
all of his drum cases had the Live Aid sticker on it.
Wow.
And here I am.
So you're just like
I
he
was-
just came direct from outer space. To
Oh,
your world.
that's
Yeah,
really what it was. And,
Yeah.
I remember one day he forgot a snare drum to rehearsal, and you know my dad comes home and you know I have to take your drum. Dad, take it. You know
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
like
yeah,
Mickey's
yeah.
gonna play my Gretsch Blackhawks.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
So-
That is amazing.
you know, just like I said, I mean, Hall & Oates was everything to me back then, and to meet Mickey and you know just to have a relationship with Mickey just for that month, you know.
Yeah.
And when they used to have those drum shows in Newington, you know,
Yeah, sure.
the
Up on the
Shriners.
Pike. Yep.
I got to see Mickey again, and after like 30 years, I said, "Do you remember this?"
Yeah,
and,
yeah,
And
that's
sure
good.
enough, he's like, "I remember you."
Oh, hey. That's cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So
Yeah, I don't blame you. Yeah, I love his playing. He's one of my favorites too.
absolutely.
I'm going to be positive. I'm going to say when I have him on, I have questions. I have a list of questions. Just drum like, what's this? What are you doing here? What is that? What is this?
Right.
Just for my own head because I want to know. So,
John, I want to be part of that in some way.
okay, okay. Well, you know, I didn't book it yet.
Yeah.
I'm getting closer to triangulating it. You know?
Oh man, I'd love
And,
to hang
okay.
out with him again.
All right. Well, you know what? We'll see if we can make that happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah. You Mickey Curry, it's a real deal, you know. So there you are. So then you're pumped. Now you're like, you know,
You know, I was just.
you're like, I'm going to be on Live Aid 2. Whenever the next, that's it. You're like, you're ready.
You know, it was for what I was at the time, 10, 11 years old, whatever. It was digestible. It was, you know, I could actually play to the music, and
Sure.
you know, I'm definitely not comparing myself to that, but it was it was something that I can actually
Right.
accomplish.
Yeah.
You know, whether it be, you know, rush down the line later or something. You
Sure.
know, those are things just over the top. I wasn't ready for that. Hall & Oates was great melody.
Right. And he's ballsy. You know, he's a groovy, just like right in your face player.
Absolutely,
I love his playing.
Absolutely.
So, yeah. That's killer.
Yeah.
So there you are. And then what happens next?
And what happens next? You know,
Playing in band. Well, no, you said you're only 10.
well,
so.
oh yeah, no, we had a band. I was in, the 7th grade talent show. We played
Yeah.
Glass Tigers. Don't Forget Me When I'm Gone. That was,
Oh, yeah,
that was
right?
the funniest thing in the world. You know, and I had just gotten. I don't know if you.
Do that, the shuffle.
Yeah,
That-
yeah. I couldn't play the shuffle, so I just played it as just a regular quarter notes. Yeah,
Boom. Yeah, that's funny.
but I had just gotten. Do you remember the old Pearl Drum X? It was pre-Simmons. It was the octagonal.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
It was the
Sure.
I got a set of those, and
Oh, wow.
and I was actually able to program those sounds from Glass Tiger. Yeah, you know that. So I realized I was on top of the world.
Wow. Yeah, that's pretty heavy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who do we know anyone who was in that?
In that band,
Yeah.
Don Horton. Don Horton, if you're out there,
Okay.
You're awesome.
Okay.
Let's see, Ricky Seppa. I don't know if you know that name, but he moved out to.
I grew up in Wallingford, so not
he
quite.
moved out to Colorado. And John Gianfrido, do you know that name at all?
Yeah, I
Keyboard
think
player?
so. Yeah.
Yeah, so that was that group. We did pretty well.
Cool.
I mean, we're only in middle school. But, we did what, and then a year later, we're, different incarnations of that band. A couple guys left, a couple guys come in. Played a talent show again. We still lost it, but it was cool.
So what?
We played White Snakes, Here I Go Again.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Of course. Yeah, you're damn right you did.
Yeah.
Killer. That's
Yeah.
killer. And then, who knows? And then what?
Then what?
Yeah.
Right around that time, I went to, right after high school, I ended up going to Wesleyan.
Oh, okay.
And I got heavily involved in the Javanese gamelan, Indian music.
Oh.
North Indian music, pretty much.
Yeah.
The Hindustani music.
Wow.
And I just kind of devoted the next couple of years of my life into
Wow.
that kind of music.
Wow.
That was intense because, it's one thing, playing your straight eighth note
Sure.
beats, and then now you just jump into another whole world.
How did you ever get interested in that? How'd that happen?
Now I think about that. I think it was, I got introduced to Shakti,
Sure.
if you know John McLaughlin.
I do.
Yeah, so when, studying, I think it might have been even Mickey Hart's book where he introduced, Zakir.
Yeah.
So it was like Hussein.
Yep.
And so he was in Shakti.
So you're hearing tablas and you're
Oh,
like, what is that all
absolutely.
about? Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
When I went there, it really opened up, the whole idea of time signatures and just, my world just really opened up.
Yeah, right. So you decided I'm going to do this.
Well, not so much do it. In fact, I just kind of like it's so cerebral that it was, you kind of walk, you kind of just, once you immerse yourself in it, it felt natural. So playing 7/8 wasn't so tough anymore.
Right. I see.
And some of the little tricks, I call them tricks, but some of the little ways that the Eastern music kind of sets itself up. I took some of those things into my playing, and that's what got me into the progressive era.
Wow. Yeah.
And that's
right.
where Seth came in, and,
Okay.
and that's where I joined Misconception.
Wow. That's a long way around.
Yeah.
So for you, it's not even odd time in Indian music. It's just time, right?
Yes and no. Yes and
Okay.
no. Because I'm still playing it on a drum set. I have the tabla, and I have these instruments, but that's that's a world away.
Yeah,
it was
right.
more about a mindset that hey, here's my bar of 4. I could take or I can add an 8th note or a 16th note.
Yeah, right.
So now 17, 16 isn't so bad anymore.
Right. Sure.
And it's the more you immerse yourself in that style of music, or just the whole idea of Indian music, it does wonders to your playing.
I can imagine.
Yeah.
Can you play tablas?
I try.
Wow. Yeah.
It's like I said. It's going to take me a lifetime to play the drums. I don't
Right.
have.
Yeah. No, I hear you. Yeah, I always like the sound of them, and then you realize that it's like, okay, how do I make those sounds? And you're like, well, you have to learn the whole system. Like, no one's gonna just hotwire and go, oh, okay, this is how you get that, and this is how you get that.
Right. Oh no.
You got to learn the whole system.
Right.
And I couldn't immerse myself completely in it. Do you know Jeff Brown? Do you know Jeff?
No.
He's a drummer. He's a great drummer, and he can play tablas.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember I was in a band, and I know it's probably not. I guess it's maybe disrespectful to the whole thing, but I was like, I don't want to call it a texture, but I was like, I have a tabla part that I want to be on this song.
Right.
And he's like, and I was like, can you actually play him? And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, would you just play a part if I sing? He's like, oh yeah. And I'm like, wow, that's wild, because instead of having to translate to somebody who is, I don't know how to speak that system.
Right.
But yeah, it was wild. I was like, oh, great. Can you just play this? And it was pretty wild.
Right. I mean, like I said, I was at Wesleyan. I mean, I was there for a semester. I mean, it was just enough for me to get my feet wet.
Yeah.
To appreciate it.
Yeah.
And to really, I saw Ravi Shankar play.
Wow.
And when he was on his tour with his daughter.
Yeah.
And just getting used to hearing those sounds.
Mm-hmm.
I did buy a tempura. That was kind of cool. The drone instrument.
Yeah.
And I would sit in my room.
There's one at JC. Right.
Oh, is there?
Sitting there, yeah.
Oh, I don't know,
Yeah,
but I mean, I would play that thing over and over and over
Sure.
again, and just get into this like trance.
Oh yeah.
But it's more than a style. It's actually it's a lifestyle. I guess you can say. Yeah.
I would imagine.
Yeah.
I had somebody turned me on to the Shakti record, John McLaughlin, and I dug the tablas, and then there's the udu, or the clay pot, and I didn't know what that was. I didn't know what I was hearing.
Right.
And then years later, and then I kind of forgot about that record. And then years later, I arrived at the udu through West African drum, and I go, oh wait, this is that thing.
Right.
And I realized it must be a different tradition, but they play that too.
The gatum, it's the clay pot, right? Right.
So I've had one of those for years. It's cool. I just kind of fool around on it, you kind of make the sounds. But it was funny. I went back to the Shakti record, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's what that is.
Right.
What do they call it? It's different.
Gatum, Ghatum, I think it is.
Okay.
Zakir came to Wesleyan a few times over the years, and I met him a couple of times, and when I would meet him, I tell him, you don't Shakti was that record changed my life.
Sure, yeah.
And like the first song off it's a 19-minute. It's called Joy, and the phrasings are all over the place. And I said to him, I says, I couldn't even figure out what signature it's in, but it's all in 4. It's just the way the phrasings go over the line.
I got you. Yeah.
It's
and it takes X number of measures till it resolves.
Right.
And then but it is still in 4.
Right.
And and here we are with our prog rock brains trying to count it.
Well, and again, when I got to Misconception, which would be the next band on the list, we were so interested in 4 bars of 3 will equal 3 bars of 4.
Sure.
And we were really I was like 17, 18 years old at the time, and we were all just so thirsty for for
math rock,
and just taking what we 4 of us came from 4 different ends of the earth. I was big into Tower of Power at that time too. Yeah. So I mean, bring the funk element. The other guys were into Zeppelin or Rush or to bring those entities all together.
Sure.
Yeah, sure.
Why not? Yeah, that's killer. So that and what was that band like? It was
Misconception.
Like that. Yeah.
Oh, it was total progressive. I mean, we had a lot of comparisons to Triumph.
Okay.
A lot of comparison to Kansas.
Oh wow.
Progressive, but still, again, that whole digestible. Seth is an amazing singer.
Yeah.
You know Seth.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's an amazing singer. So I mean, he brought in this like Steve Perry-esque kind of voice.
Whole other thing.
Which I was very, very pleased. We were only kids.
Yeah. Kids. And you guys played out a lot.
Oh yeah,
played around.
Oh yeah. We played up a lot on the southern campus. We played
a
lot down New Haven.
Wow, so that was back then. You could do that sort of thing.
Yeah, Toads, Reflections. What's the York Street? I forget the name of it. Cherries. That was a big one. We played a lot.
Man, I barely remember.
Yeah, that was. It was. I mean, again,
pretty cool.
We weren't even old enough to go into a bar, and here we are.
Yeah, right. Yeah, there you are doing it up.
Right.
Yeah, that's killer. That's killer. And then what? So there you are, Misconception.
Well, that's where life took a big turn, where we were getting really good, and unfortunately, I just had a realization where I need to get my life together, because that was. So I went back to school, and I got my teaching degree. So I've been teaching for the past 26 years.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Hey, that's cool.
So I'm a teacher in Meriden.
Wow.
Yeah, I teach art. So.
Oh wow! Hey.
Yeah. So I do art. I draw for the newspaper.
Oh, wow.
I've done that for years.
Yeah, that's cool.
But, drums never left me. It's just that that situation left me.
Yeah. How did art come into the picture with you?
I've always been.
Always.
Again, go back to my dad.
Yeah,
My
right.
dad is my hero. There's no
Wow.
question about it.
So from day one.
Day one.
So it's not. So I mean, it's art is not. It's all part of the thing. You know, it's not like, oh well, I wanted to play music and then I became, you know.
Oh no.
Something unrelated. So I mean, you're doing your thing.
Yeah.
One way or the other.
Yeah.
You know, that's kind of cool.
Yeah. I did 3 years at Pear, the art school.
Yeah.
While I was still in Misconception. So I mean, the art thing is always, it's, you know, that's been the hardest thing of all this is the balance. You know,
yeah, sure.
You know, you tend to get a little heavy in music, and then, you know, the art suffers a little bit, and then you get a little, you know, you go head over heels into music, and then, you know, that part suffers. So
Yeah.
I like where I am now, where my day job is art.
Yeah.
You know, night comes around, you know, I'll play in my studio, and that's cool too.
What more could you ask for, really,
Right.
when you get right down to it? I mean, if you wanted to do both things, like I think like if you're, I mean, I suppose this would be fine, but if your music career took off, there wouldn't be a lot of time for art.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's kind of like you realize when we're young, we think it's like all or nothing, and then you realize, oh wait, I'm an adult and I still do all of it.
Yeah.
Kinda, you know.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that. I don't think. You know.
Right.
You know, it's pretty cool. So teaching art for that long, that's kind of cool. What's that like?
Oh, I love it.
Yeah?
You know, I love it. You know,
High school?
Middle school.
Wow.
But, you know, I'd gone through middle school. I taught prison. I taught in
Wow.
Whaley Avenue. That was kind of fun
Wow.
for about 5 years.
Wow.
Again, you know, it's, you know, they always have that old adage of, you know, if you like your job, you'll never work a day in your life.
Yeah.
And I'm not. I haven't worked in 26 years.
Yeah, right. Hey, man, that's killer, though.
Yeah.
That's all you can ask for. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's wild. When you were, I don't know much about art. What is if you were to be just an artist, what medium? Like,
Well, I mean, that's kind of changed a lot too. Pear actually looks down if you're an abstract artist. They don't like any type of that abstract expressionism stuff. So
Okay.
you know, they're fine tuning you to paint photoreal. I mean, they want you
Okay.
to. In college,
Why?
That's just their thing. You know,
Okay.
they want, you know, it's all about technique.
Okay.
It's all about technique.
Okay.
It's not about, I mean, it's expression too, but it's
Sure.
technique.
Okay.
And I did that in college. And it's just not I mean, I like Dali. Dali's my hero as far as art is concerned. And, you know, he's got technique as well, but the conceptual end of it
Yeah.
is really where I'm
Well,
at.
what does Pear prepare you for in their mind? They just feel like if you're coming here, we want to take care of your technique.
They want you to be a freelance illustrator.
Oh, okay.
You want to do books. You want to do magazines.
I see.
And
Did you know that when you went there?
not necessarily. I think I was too immature to.
You just thought it's art.
You know,
I'll figure it out.
I'll tell you what. I got a degree. I got a scholarship to go to Savannah, and I was only 17, and I'm like, I couldn't leave my home.
Sure.
I couldn't leave my parents. I have 2 younger brothers. I couldn't leave them, and so I'm just thinking, what's the next closest thing? Hey, I could drive to Hamden. I can go to school in Hamden. So
Sure. Why not?
that's what I did.
Yeah. Does that? You said you draw for the newspaper.
Yeah, the Record Journal.
Did that help?
Oh, absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
There you go. Something.
No, it's of course. You know, it's definitely. I use it every day. I mean,
Oh, there you go. Yeah. Don't you think sometimes, like with school or education, it's like I realize this as I get older. You just go, well, it's about finding out. You know, like you don't have to be good at everything, or it's just being exposed to a bunch of different things to figure out, like, oh, okay, if this is not what I want to do, that can be just as valuable.
Oh, absolutely.
Like you're saying, you're figuring it out. You're thinking art is art.
Absolutely.
Whatever, you know, with no different. You ready to go back to school? When you going back? Next week?
Yeah, not Monday, the following Monday.
Oh,
yeah.
boy. Are you ready?
Yeah. My wife's a teacher too, so
okay.
you know, we kind of like once you get that letter in the mail saying welcome to the 2023-24 year, you know, and it's the welcome back letter. It's, you know, the summer's just about done, and the cool thing, I have a 10-year-old who's going to be in the school with me.
Oh, wow.
So that's going to be kind of
That's wild.
fun thing too. Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. So you're just going to do that until the end.
Yeah,
Take it all the way. Why not?
Yeah, that's.
And you're a cool teacher. They like you because you're cool.
I don't know about that, but
Well, I mean, you're not. I mean, I hate to. You're not trying to teach them math or something that they're not interested in.
no,
Right?
no. Well, again, I think it doesn't matter really the discipline. It's how you deliver it. I guess.
Yeah.
I mean,
you're just trying to inspire them in some
right.
kind of way.
I mean, and you're not. You gotta. I think you got to go in saying to yourself, you're not going to reach everyone, and that's okay, but you're going to try your darndest. It's kind of, some people that they just art's just not their thing, but you try to make it.
Yeah. Do they have to take art?
Yeah.
Okay.
At one point or another throughout the 3 years.
Well, that's cool, and then some of them probably pursue it.
Yeah. No, I love my job. I love the people I work with. I'm in a good place.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I can't complain about that.
Yeah.
That's killer. Is that's not the extent of your musical career?
No.
So let's get to it.
Yeah, let's keep going.
Yeah.
Sure. So let's see. Misconception. Right around that time, another guy that you guys talk about quite often, Matt Chersky.
Oh boy.
Yeah. So Matt and we shared a band room with Matt.
Oh, okay.
I think everyone shared a band room with
sure,
Matt at some time.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, that was cool. Misconception. We shared a band room, downtown Meriden. With
What, Johnny Skaggs' place?
No. This was behind the old Domino's Pizza.
Wow, I don't know if I knew that one.
Matt was in Nocturnally Yours.
No, that's funny.
Yeah, so we were the band room over next to him. Unfortunately, it was right around that time where I left. And then I started working at JC Music.
Oh, wow.
I was the drum
I
teacher.
just came from there.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I taught there for years.
Oh, wow.
God, for years.
Wow, that's funny.
Yeah, and so... and that, again, taking everything that, from Wesleyan and from Misconception, taking all of that and, to actually have like lessons on paper that I can actually, give a kid. And that just changed that changed it. I mean, it was really in the sense that I like teaching.
Yeah.
And
I do too.
It made sense for me to go into a teaching career after teaching at JC Music. I mean,
wow.
Yeah.
Hey, that's cool.
Yeah. And one of your former, podcast was one of my students. Actually, Chuck was one of my students.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's so
Hey,
funny.
Chuck.
Yeah. That's where I just came from.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's cool. How's Jeff doing?
Fine. He's fine. Yeah, they totally. You should check it out. They totally remodeled, revamped. Yep. It looks completely different. I don't know how to describe what they did, but
right.
It's wild. They were working on it
Cool.
I'm there like once a week, so I saw it in stages, and then now it looks like it's.
Oh, you're all downstairs,
cool.
right? You're still downstairs.
Yeah, but I mean the upstairs, like the whole whole store is different. Yeah.
That's cool, man.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. Yeah.
Now is Donnie still around too?
I think so. Yeah, I think he's there a different day.
That's cool.
But yeah, Donnie's still around.
Yeah, give my regards to everybody there.
I will. I got to get him on.
I was there in '93.
Wow.
95.
Yeah.
Somewhere around there.
Yeah.
And I was there till about 98.
Wow.
Because 98's when I started teaching.
Yeah.
For real. I mean.
Yeah. You were like, okay, this is it.
Yeah. So about 5 or 6 years I was there.
Where does Tino and Matt Roberts come into picture?
Yeah. So Chris was 5 houses up the street from us. So
okay.
So I remember, we used to play hide and seek, in his backyard. We were 8 or 9 years old. Matt Roberts is a longer story.
Oh boy.
So
it would be.
Yeah. Matt's
I'm saying that in case you. This.
Matt, how you doing, buddy?
Yeah.
I saw him for the first time like in 30 years at the Daffodil Festival.
Really?
Yeah, it was great.
Wow.
It was great. Not 30, maybe 25.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Because I played with him and Tino,
right,
for a long time.
So I think that's where we met.
Okay, probably.
When Acustica was playing, Matt and I were in Red Bridge together, and then we were in Soul Potion together, and then right when Soul Potion kind of fell apart, Acustica picked up.
Okay.
And I saw you guys at Maloney's one night.
Yeah, you probably did. Yeah. Yeah.
So Matt
That's
came
hilarious.
in.
Yeah, that's old. That's some old school Meriden right there. Matt Roberts.
So Matt, we were in a. I got asked by one of Matt's guitar buddies who I had gone to school named Jeff Boudreau.
Oh,
And
yeah. I know Jeff.
You know Jeff?
Yeah.
Okay, so Jeff called me up one day and he said, hey, we need a drummer. We're going to be playing this, I don't know, just like this Hungarian hall in Wallingford, right on, what was it, Ward Street, Quinnipiac, over there? And my buddy Matt Rinn, who actually just worked on my car, we both wanted to put our drum sets together. And we had this, just to see what people see.
Oh, yeah, right.
And we put this big, massive kit together, and we played, and oh my God, it was a fun time. And we played. It was me, Matt, Jeff, and this bass player named Sock, which I don't even know what happened to him.
Yeah.
But we Matt does all the Grateful Dead stuff, and so we just did this one medley of a 45-minute medley of all these Dead tunes. But I didn't know any of the Dead stuff.
Right.
So they're like, yeah, just go,
Yeah,
wherever you want to go.
Yeah.
And the only thing I associated with the Dead was Mickey Hart.
Sure.
And so I started playing all these, tribal patterns underneath their Shakedown Street. So
Yeah. It's funny.
But that's how I ended up with me and Matt. And,
Wow.
and then we stayed together and we practiced at the big mansion. And that was a big part of my not early life, but my early 20s was revolved around the Roberts household.
Yeah. I spent a fair amount of time there.
Yeah.
But, did you see the death mask up in the attic?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'll never forget that.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, come up here.
You want to hear a funny story?
Yeah.
When the house was being sold and the auction house came in to clear out everything, I went to the auction and all my drum pieces were in the auction.
Whoa.
And I remember going up to the auctioneer and I said, hey, that's all mine.
Yeah.
And he says, good, you could put a big bid on it and you could have it back.
Whoa.
And I'm like, what?
What? Because you just left stuff
I just
there?
left stuff there.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Did somebody else got it?
Yeah. It was just bits and pieces.
Yeah.
Nothing too much.
That's funny.
Yeah, but
Yeah, I hung out at that house enough. Yeah, and then, the thing with Matt that's funny, I go, is this house, it must be haunted. He's like, yeah. I'm like, does it freak you out? He's like, no, they're all my relatives.
Yeah.
I know every ghost that would be here. It's not like there's any.
Oh, do you remember the house? So I assume you went upstairs.
Yeah.
All right. Every time you walked on that floorboard, you hear it just creak and creak and creak. So, anybody could have been upstairs and you're freaking out because you hear these floorboards creaking.
Totally.
Oh, yeah, no, that was fun times there. We used to play in the back. So where the carriage house is, in the back, we used to go back there. I'd bring my Doombeck. And,
oh, wow.
And he'd have, him and, I don't know if you know Derek Rice. All right, so they would all go. We'd all go back there. Jeff would be back there. Kat and all those the rest. We'd all be back there and just jamming out.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's wild. Yep, the good old days, I guess. Right?
Yeah, absolutely. I look back on that stuff fondly, very fondly.
Yeah. Well, the house is still there.
Yeah. We live up the street.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's wild. All right. What else?
After that, I went on tour with a band called Surreal Project.
Oh, okay.
And that was all indie music.
Oh, wow.
That was where we really... Actually, they called it ethno music.
Okay,
so,
sure. Yeah.
So it was, Doombeck, Cajon.
Wow.
They were all... One was a professor.
Oh, wow.
The other one I worked with. And we played... We had many, many instruments. Every song was a different instrument.
Wow.
So that was cool.
That's cool. So that continued with you beyond the Wesleyan thing.
Oh, absolutely.
Just being interested in whatever.
Absolutely.
Just anything. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. Me too. I was always percussion along with drums.
Yeah.
Always, conga, everything. Anything I could get my hands on.
Right. Yeah. This band was cool. It was, we practiced at Wesleyan, and it was a play on words, so surreal. So sa being from the Indian scale,
okay,
and a reel like in Irish music.
Wow.
So it was a play on music,
funny.
and so it really was a true conglomeration of all these different ethnicities, the styles,
cool.
and it was really cool. Like, for example, there was one song based on kubing. It's the jaw harps.
Okay.
And, I think I played a cajon. No, I played my doumbek for that one.
Wow.
I mean, just all these different.
Yeah.
Every song was a different instrument.
Anything goes.
Anything goes.
Yeah.
And that was the cool thing about it. And we did a short tour, a 2-week tour down to Alabama, Tennessee, Virginia, North Carolina. And, it was cool because we were totally underground. I mean, there was definitely.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun.
Yeah. That's wild. So bringing wild ethno music to Alabama.
To Alabama, right? Yeah, Montgomery.
What was that like?
Oh, that was cool.
Were they into it?
Yeah, well, actually, the place that surprised me was Chattanooga. We played in Tennessee.
Wow.
And
this would have been when?
2002.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was a summer, so we headed off. And the other guys were teachers, so we all had
Yeah,
off.
right,
and
right,
it just
right.
worked out. We got in the car, drove down, actually SUV, and I remember sitting in the back, and I got the cajon. 17 hours with.
That's crazy.
But we ended up in Chattanooga, and that was a big turning point because it was like, what in the world is this music going over so well down here? It was. We played a couple of shows in Tennessee, and the other ones I don't think did as well. Alabama did great. I remember Montgomery. That was like, you would never think.
And they were just into it. They were like, hit us.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We were playing these like little theaters. I mean,
wow.
Nothing huge. I mean,
yeah.
But enough that,
So people were just like, we're interested.
Yeah, I think it was more like kind of like this alternative
yeah.
crew that
Sure.
just, hey, what are these guys about?
Wow.
And
that's kind of exciting.
yeah, I mean,
It's kind of wild.
Yeah, it was fun.
Imagine that.
A lot of fun.
You would never imagine that you'd make it to Alabama playing the most...
Playing a cajon.
Yeah, right. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Killer.
That was
Do you
cool.
want to get back into playing, or you don't care?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. I do want to play. I have this. I want to reinvent it again. What? Like I said,
What's going to be next?
Well, I think the setup is going to dictate where I'm going next. I think I want to pull out some like a break drum, and I want to pull out some more of the. So, my wife and I, we adopted from Korea, and when I was over in Korea, I got some beautiful Korean drums.
Oh,
and
wow.
I want to incorporate that. Right now it just sits there, and I want to incorporate that into the set a little bit more, if at all, just as a personal. This is what I want to do.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know where it's going to take me as far as a band situation, but at least, I got my little setup in my house where I could record it or wherever this setup takes me.
Yeah. And what's that like? What are those drums like? What are they like?
Similar to a conga.
Okay.
But they are rope tuned, so more like a talking drum, I guess you can
Yeah,
say.
yeah, yeah.
But you're not necessarily.
Yeah.
The sound of a conga, the
Yep.
look of a talking drum.
Okay. That's
Yeah.
cool. And what's the technique? Is there a different way to play it?
Yeah, you're playing with little switches. You're playing not so much like a drum stick. You're playing more with like a little rod almost.
Oh, wow.
Almost like the dowels, like the hot rods.
Yeah.
Imagine taking 2 or 3 of them out and hitting it with that.
Well, that's kind of wild.
So I'm not quite sure where and how, but I do know that's in the future.
That's kind of wild.
Yeah.
Wow. Wonder how's Matt Roberts gonna react to that? I wonder.
I don't know, Matt. How are you going to react to that?
So funny.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah. So after Surreal,
Yeah.
the next big thing was Kudra, and if you ever get a chance, go on YouTube and look up Kudra. I mean, that was probably the most intense band I've ever been in.
Is that where I would hear about you?
Probably.
Okay. All right.
So,
tell me about that.
do you remember Chris Arnett?
Maybe.
He was the writer from
Advocate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He called us a supergroup, which was
Hey.
but he took so Chris Crowley. Do you
Yep.
remember that name from Sylph?
No.
New Haven
Okay.
hardcore.
Yeah.
So he, myself, and there was another band I had been in called Red 40 Lake.
Okay.
We played they played Big Day Off, and I joined the next day.
Oh wow.
We played one TV show, and then it was like done.
Oh wow.
But Mike Bebo and Joe Pisco, and we had one goal, and the goal was to do something that no one's ever done.
Sure.
I mean, we were doing some radical things, man. I'll give you an idea. Taking some dice.
Yeah.
Tom 1, Tom 2.
Oh boy.
Tom 3. Talk about the craziest linear pattern you can come over 2 bars. So 32 notes, 2 and 4 on the snare. Every other note is going to be something else.
Whoa.
We did a palindrome with music where we play a whole song for 4 minutes, as radical as we can, and then we play the whole song backwards.
Whoa.
They were nuts.
That's crazy.
That was fun.
So that's like beyond math. Now it's geometry rock. It's geometrical.
Oh, that
rock.
was. It was cool though, man. I mean,
yeah. That probably because man, they're sick. It's crazy. You know, the most progressive, crazy stuff ever.
It was a fun time.
Kind of wild.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then what?
Box cutter. That was another one.
You got a million of them. Yeah.
Yeah, that was Nicky Pinto.
No.
Do you know Nicky?
No.
He's a Maryland guy. Donnie McManus. That was a cool band.
Maybe.
Donnie brought the whole MIDI guitar thing in. We were playing like regular Bryan Adams and regular top 40 stuff.
Mickey Curry.
Yeah, Mickey Curry. There you go. But that band was. He brought the whole MIDI guitar thing, so playing was it Heaven or whatever those songs were.
Sure.
And then all of a sudden you get a flute sound going, and like,
oh boy,
where's our flautist? You know.
Yeah. That's funny. That's awesome.
And here we are. I mean, that's pretty much.
Yeah.
That's I played with a couple of bands, Slow Burn and Bad Dog.
Yeah.
Bad Dog has been the most recent one.
Yeah. How long ago was that?
Oh, last year.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
okay. Sure, you're still doing it.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, that's cool. Just not at nothing at the moment.
No.
Yeah.
No, absolutely not.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So you don't even know what the next thing might be. You're just ready.
I'm ready.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. That's killer.
Yeah.
All right. What else you want to talk about?
You tell me.
Well, I mean, the wrap-up question. I mean, we got, we're getting close-ish. The wrap-up questions. Is that going to take us into other realms?
Sure.
All right. Well,
let's go.
You know what's coming.
Yeah.
Desert Island Albums.
Desert Island.
Here we go.
Private Eyes. Right off the bat. Right off the bat.
Wow.
No question about it.
Wow.
H2O probably as well.
Sure.
Hall & Oates.
Yeah. That's funny.
Tower of Power, Monster on a Leash. Now, I'm saying that.
Wow.
Because
I don't know that one.
So that's Russ McKinnon. That's not Garibaldi.
Yep.
And I say that because, right?
Sure.
That to actually learn Garibaldi is a step.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Still.
And when I was 15 years old, Monster on a Leash came out, and everything. Well, again, going back to that word digestible. I mean, I was able to understand what I could play a Tower of Power song.
Yeah.
And then.
Yeah, I don't know if I know that stuff.
Yeah, there's 2 records that Russ McKinnon played on.
I liked Herman Matthews. I liked them with Herman Matthews. I thought that was cool. I mean, it's different, than Garibaldi.
Right.
Actually, I could probably find it now, but I liked the Herman Matthews record that he did with them, and I was like, I never saw them live with him. I would have liked to have heard him interpret.
Absolutely. You know what's really cool about Herman Matthews is that, when there's a few songs that the independence that he had was just like phenomenal.
Oh, wow.
When I associate Herman Matthews, I think of like, Kenny Loggins or something.
Sure.
And when you saw him live, I mean, he reinterpreted all the Garibaldi stuff. He wasn't doing he wasn't doing the linear stuff. He'd keep the eighth notes like on So Vaccination. I was like, whoa,
wow.
It's a whole new way of hearing these tunes, but they were still spot on.
Yeah. I probably find that now on YouTube. I think at the time there wasn't such a thing, but now that I'm thinking about it, I could probably, because I would love to have heard his interpretation.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's killer.
You know, he was a great drummer.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's still around.
Yeah.
Doing something. All right, so Monster on a Leash. What else?
Oh yeah, Monster on a Leash. Dream Theater.
Yeah.
Yeah, just about any of those early Mike Portnoy ones. Mangini's amazing, but it's over the top.
Oh, really?
I don't know. What do you think?
It's not. I don't know enough. It's not really my thing.
Yeah.
So I don't know Dream Theater chapter and verse.
Right. I'm gonna go back to some of the Funk Brothers, maybe the Temptations.
Yeah.
I'd probably bring the Temptation anthology. You know what? I like them all.
Yeah, right. No, I hear that. No, I definitely hear that.
The Mahavishnu, Zappa. I mean, I can do all them. Joe's Garage would have been good.
Yeah,
I'll take that with me.
Yeah.
Shakti.
Yeah, sure.
That's a big one.
Yep.
Oh.
It's got to be more.
There's a lot more. I'm just like it's. I'm thinking about Miles.
Yeah.
I'm not the biggest jazz guy in the world, but
yeah.
But when it comes to something like Kind of Blue,
yeah.
Maybe some cool jazz like that might be kind of neat to have on that desert island.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of a cool.
Okay.
I'll take those.
Yeah.
I gotta add one more. 24/7 Spies.
Oh yeah.
Do you remember that?
I do.
Fishbone-ish.
Yeah. Chuck was talking about them.
Yeah, no, they're
I remember the name. I can't say that I remember, but Fishbone is my thing.
Yeah.
So I remember when all that was coming through.
That whole
I latched on to Fishbone.
Yeah, that whole 1991, 92.
Yeah.
Sinister Dane, Follow for Now, 24/7 Spies, Fishbone, all that funk rock was just like that. I was heavily into that.
Yeah.
But Spies had a record.
Yeah, check it out.
Check this one out. It's called Strength in Numbers.
Okay.
And that would be definitely one I'm taking on that island because I don't see a flaw in that record. I mean, and it's amazing in the sense that the first song, Break the Chains, heavy funk. Second one is a rap song. I mean, it's just everyone right down the line. It's just phenomenal.
Yeah, I'll check that out.
Yeah,
that's cool. Are they still around, or we don't know?
I'm friends with the drummer and the guitar player on Facebook. They're definitely around. I don't think they're as active as they were 30 years ago.
Who is?
Yeah. Maybe Yngwie too. Maybe I'll put that on the list too. And
really?
Oh yeah.
Oh wow.
You know Yngwie?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
In fact, I named my son after Yngwie's drummer.
Really?
Yeah.
What's it?
Anders.
Oh, okay.
Anders
I
Johansson.
don't know. Not that hardcore.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Wow. Far out.
Yeah. One day my son's gonna ask me, Dad, where'd my name come from? Yeah.
Be like, are you ready?
This long-haired guy that I got to see in '89.
Yeah. Totally. Desert Island food.
Desert Island food. You can't go wrong with pizza. Can't go wrong with tacos.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Pretty straightforward.
How about you?
What? Food?
Both. Yeah, sure.
Yeah. I mean, Mexican. Anything Mexican I'm good with.
That's cool.
Pretty much.
What about your records? I want to know what you would take.
Mine?
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, it really depends on what, when or what. I mean, for me, like Beatles' White Album.
Yeah.
That's kind of where it begins. Cheap Trick's debut album, very first, 76. Sure. I mean, it just really just depends on, there's so many. I can't, you know how it is. I can never do that. I've been on a bender. I don't know. Well, I read a book, that's why. I'm doing like Queen top to bottom.
Sure.
Because I grew up, and Queen 2 is crazy. That's a crazy record. I've been listening to that over and over all week. And that's becoming a favorite. It's so hard to say. Yeah. I mean, there's just 50 million things. I mean, like I'm into so many things. I mean, there's just too many things. I love reggae. I love folk music. Like just, I love bluegrass.
Sure.
I was really into electronic music. I still love dance music. I love like early pioneers of rock and roll. Like I love rock and roll. I'm a big rock and roll fan. I mean, there's just so many. There's 50 million things. Dead Can Dance is
sure.
Love,
oh my God.
The kind of, I guess in a way, you could call them world music or whatever, but there wasn't a thing. Like I wouldn't say they invented it, but they had the same idea that other people had at the same time. But I love Dead Can Dance. any like Toward the Within, that would be.
I was just gonna say,
Right.
Toward Within is
Yeah.
amazing. What's the name of the song? Like number 3 or 4 on Toward the Within.
Yeah.
Doon to doon to doon doon to doon to doon to doon. Oh, what's it? And then the chants come in.
Yeah. Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah.
I listened to that over and over. Right when I was at Wesleyan, that was huge.
Oh, really?
I
Okay.
was
Yeah,
getting into that tremendously.
Yeah. I'm a big Dead Can Dance fan. I mean, I don't know. There's just so
Yeah.
many. I can't even. I'd have to look at my player that I carry around with 50 million things.
Yeah,
I mean,
you
it's just
mentioned the
a million.
Beatles. Put Revolver on that list.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I'm a huge NRBQ fan from
Sure.
way back in the day, so anything like that. Yeah, it's just so hard to say. It just
Yeah.
depends on what day it is,
Right.
It's kind of crazy.
That's
You know.
cool.
Can you think of any one particular show or concert that you saw that changed your whole thing?
Oh, geez. Zakir Hussain. I mean,
Oh, wow.
when I was,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know, being at Wesleyan and being, from EDU away from him and
Yeah,
watching
yeah.
his hands do things that just are inconceivable.
Yeah.
I could say, Judas Priest, because
Sure.
I love double bass stuff,
Yeah, yeah,
and,
yeah.
and being, I saw the Painkiller tour with Scott Travis, which is kind of cool. And, my wife and I have this talk all the time. She saw Madonna's Like a Virgin tour, and I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah, sure.
Genesis, that was a great show.
Yeah,
saw
right.
that years ago. As far as local stuff, you know what? Connecticut's such a good breeding ground for talent. I mean, you really can't go wrong going to a club here and there and
Yeah,
seeing
right.
some really good concerts.
I think so.
Yeah, no,
You
without
know.
question. As far as like a favorite concert,
Yeah.
Tower of Power at the Sting,
Sure.
New Year's Eve, '91.
Wow. Yeah, that would do it.
Yeah, but that was with Russ McKinnon. That wasn't with Garibaldi.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah, they played a song called "Mr. Toad's Wild Ride," which I love that.
Yeah.
It
rings a bell.
it's not necessarily a popular one. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't think Garibaldi's ever played it, but
Yeah.
it was a pretty good one.
Kind of wild. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Anything else?
No,
You want to wrap it up? We got about 10 minutes.
whatever you want to talk.
You were going to ask me something.
Tell me more about Danny Korchmar. I saw that on your bio.
Oh, boy.
I'd love to know more about this. I mean, he's a legend.
Yeah.
A legend playing with a legend.
Well, I don't know about that, but yeah, he was living in Connecticut for a period, and he was in like Granby or something like that, and he was looking to start a band around here, and I think he had tried a couple of cats, and he asked somebody that I did sessions for. He was like, who am I missing? And she was like, oh, you call John Peckman. So I remember she gave me the heads up, and I knew who he was, because I grew up seeing his name on the back of records forever, and I was just like, whoa, that's going to be wild. And then yeah, sure enough, he just called, hey, I got your number from so and so, and yeah, it was he's just like, I want to put a band together. I just want to play, because I'm just kind of the way it is. Like I want to be gigging. So he was involved. He already had a guitar player. We didn't have the bass chair was up for grabs, and we were just chatting on the phone a bunch of times. And then he had a rehearsal spot. And then one day he's like trying to get everybody together, and he goes, you know what? I just want to hear you play. Can you just come up and me and you will play? And I'm like, okay, sure. So we went up to this rehearsal spot, and me and him just kind of played, and he's just great. I mean, I don't know if you've ever had this experience, but it's like I've played to his records before, so you kind of know, where he's kind of coming from. And for whatever reason, I don't know why, but as soon as he and I alone just played together, it was just like we just fell right in.
Right.
I was like, oh, this, and he was like, yeah, fine, this is going to be great. And then, he eventually found the bass player.
That's cool.
And yeah, and I mean, we played a while. I mean, it might have been close to 10 years, which is hard to believe, when I think about it. And it was really cool. I mean, he's great. I mean, it's hard to describe. it's like such a gutsy player. Like I thought, oh, he's going to be like the slick LA guy. That would just be in my mind because I would see his name. I didn't know exactly which one he was when I was hearing it.
Sure.
And then when I play with him, he's very rock. Like he's a raw player. And I was like, oh, okay. He must not be the slick guy. I don't know who I was thinking of that was slick because the only other guy in that pack that I would think of would be Waddy, and he's real rock too. Mm-hmm. So maybe I just had it wrong or whatever. Maybe I don't know who I was thinking of, but I was just amazed at how rock he was and just like super funky. I mean, really funky. Cool. Yeah, there were times when we would lock into a funk groove and he would lay into it and I would just be like, wow, this is insane. Wow. Yeah, really something else.
What did your set list look like?
It's kind of funny. I mean, I guess it was kind of a rootsy kind of blues band. So we were doing a lot of blues stuff, but rearranging it. But yet, he would always have like a song on, a James Taylor record, a Jackson Browne record, or whoever.
Right.
So we would gather up it was just funny because I was like, I can't imagine I would ever be in a band that would play Dirty Laundry by Don Henley.
Sure.
Except he wrote it. So it's like you're in a cover band, but you're not because it's his song.
It's his song.
Yeah. It was, stuff like that.
Yeah.
So there was the handful of, whatever tunes he had on James Taylor records or Jackson Browne records that, so there would be those tunes. And then it was actually a band. So it was like sometimes, the other guitar player, Tim McDonald, he had his whole bag.
Right.
So it would be his songs. And by the time we were done, everybody was bringing songs in. And I might have told the story before, but this is just like the most ridiculous. I could never imagine this happening. So he was like, because I'm a singer, but I didn't need to. I didn't need to sing. And he goes, hey, you sing. Why don't you sing a song? And I'm like, I don't know. And he's like, I'll play anything. I mean, I name a song. Like, what do you sing? And I was like, I don't want to sing this. And then I thought, well, I have this cover band. I got this kind of rock. Oh, there was an Oasis tune. It was like a B-side.
Sure.
It's kind of rocking. And I played it for him. And he's like, yeah, let's do that. So here I am at the rehearsal spot in Wallingford learning Step Out by Oasis with Danny Cooch. It was just hilarious. It was so funny. Cool. I'm like, this is bizarre. Right. And it was great because it's basically like an AC/DC song.
Yeah.
But like when I met Danny, he was all about AC/DC. And I had a Ramones keychain. And he goes, oh, Ramones, one of my favorite bands. Like completely not in my mind thinking like he's Mr. L.A. Smooth.
That's what I'm thinking, L.A.
No, not at all. No. And then he would tell the whole story about, I love the Ramones too, that he was hanging around because he was one of Phil Spector's guys.
Right.
And so he was there when they were making End of the Century, because Jim Keltner played on some of that stuff. So he goes, we would just make the rounds. And he goes, I don't want to put words in his mouth, but he was one of the dudes that he said he went with Linda Ronstadt to see either the Ramones or Elvis Costello. And he was like, we're done. Like the singer-songwriter thing is over. This is going to be the new thing. So he was kind of the more forward thinker, I think. Unless they all were. They might have been, but he was the one that saw it. So not like you would think. Like not Mr. Slick. And in a way, like Tim McDonald is not, I wouldn't say a slick player, but Tim McDonald is almost more what you would imagine Danny was.
Right.
And they kind of complemented each other.
Wow.
But it was a gas to play with him. And what's funny is like sometimes you can imagine as a drummer, there would be moments when, because he produced a lot of stuff too. Mm-hmm. And he was really cool. But sometimes he'd be like, hey man, can you, and he was a little bit of a drummer. He was like, can you try this, play this on this thing? And all of a sudden you're like, hey, I'm being produced in this moment by like a real producer. And everything that he would suggest, I still, I was like, oh yeah, that is a cool idea. Wow. That's pretty cool. So I took a bunch of things that he kind of hooked me up with, which was kind of wild.
That's cool.
It was weird, because I was always playing rim shots, forever, because that's what we do. And he was like, hey, why don't you try the center of the drum for the, like, literally, like, for the
chorus.
Yeah. And I was like, you could do that? You know what I mean? And I still, to this day, have a middle of the drum thing that I never would have had if no one ever said that.
Right.
But he's got that ear that, I'm sure other musicians would want to tell you something, but they don't know how to express it. But he had produced enough and could play drums enough to go, hey, why don't you do this? Right. And it was just like, wow, hey, this is wild. I was like, yeah, that's cool. So it was a real gas playing with him.
That's cool.
Yeah, and I felt like, by the time we got into our thing, I feel like for me, in a certain way, it was my most authentic playing. Like I was able to just exactly play the way I wanted to and express myself.
Right.
And then when it was over, he moved back to LA. And I was really sad, but I just was like, okay, well, you know what? I did it. Like I felt like this is as good as I'm going to play. And I still do things that I really enjoy. But it was just funny. Yeah. But it was a wild experience.
That's super cool.
Yeah, it was really cool.
It's funny you mentioned that. And I think, you were mentioning, we're talking about all these bands. Everyone was like a stepping stone to the next thing. And I don't think I could have done this without doing what previous. And I think similar to what you were just saying, you know, he brought something out of you that would just not have come out otherwise.
Right. And then, when you get to a point where, it's one thing to have somebody that you don't respect or you're just playing some lousy gig telling you what to do. But when you have somebody that you respect anyway, and then you play with them and really respect their playing and they suggest things to you, you're just like, oh, hey, that's cool. Right. So I was ready. I was old enough to be like, okay, I'm not going to be like pissy, like someone's going to tell me what to play.
Yeah. You put your ego at the door and you just kind of, all right, let's do it.
I wanted to learn, as much as I could playing with them. Cause I just thought, okay, this is kind of next level.
Right. That's so awesome.
And it wasn't the thing is like, it wasn't like super challenging,
right?
But it was, cause it's just a different thing, just like total feel, you know. It was a field gig.
Different mindset.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's cool.
Sure. Hey, we gotta go because I don't want to run out. Right. I think everything's cool. Anything else? Any final words?
Just thanks for having me.
Of course.
I'm humbled to be here.
Hey, man. Why not? Yeah. Why not?
You're a legend, man. Thank you.
Hey, we're here. I want to get everybody's story told. If you want to get your story told, and just use this. That's cool. As the window to get through. That's
you have a wonderful place here.
Hey, that's Dave. It's all Dave.
You got a wonderful place here.
Hey. See what I'm saying? All right, cool. All right, I'm going to press the button.
Yeah.
Don't get scared.
I won't.
All right, Justin Piccirillo was here. We've heard about him. We heard from him, finally. Here he is. John Peckman Podcast, Connecticut Valley School of Music and Dance, beautiful downtown Portland, Connecticut. Come through the bridge, go through one set of lights, start looking left, pull a UE, park in front of the store, red neon light, have your own podcast. Dave will tell you how. Like, subscribe, and tell your friends, come on the show with me. Why not, right?
Why not?
All right, man. Justin Piccirillo was here.
Thanks again.
You got it. Thank you.
See you.
That is all.
If you'd like to start your own podcast, give us a call at Connecticut Valley School of Music and Dance. Our professionally designed podcast space is here for all your recording needs. Rent out our studio to do interviews with up to 4 people, to record audiobooks, social media content, and all other recorded material. Our rentals include a private studio along with our professional-grade podcasting equipment, and we can customize your output to whatever your needs are. We also have green screen capabilities, which will expand to video capability if you so wish. So check us out here at convalley.net/podcast.